that's a good number, actually. For bureaucracies, that's actually not a bad number.
With more air marshals, we would do more, obviously.
Okay, that's pretty evasive. Do you have an air marshal on every flight?
No, sir, we do not.
Senator Ted Cruz is requiring TSA to provide some special treatment.
Call us crazy. We would think that a security fee might be used for security. Just putting that out there as a wild thought.
Security fee for security. What a concept.
Where is it diverted? Do you?
A lot of it goes to the general treasury.
I'm sorry, I shouldn't have asked Ms. Scanlon. Whoever.
That was the grand finale, Chairman.
Excuse me. I would now like to formally introduce our witnesses. Stacey Fitzmaurice, who serves as the Executive Assistant Administrator for Operations Support. Julie Scanlon, who serves as the Executive Assistant Administrator for Enterprise Support. And Brian Belcher, who serves as the Executive Assistant Administrator for Law Enforcement, Federal Air Marshal Services. And Steve Lorincz, who serves as the Deputy Executive Assistant Administrator for Security Operations. What is the percentage of people that are on the ground actually doing the work, screening, et cetera, versus the people that are at headquarters or work as a support for the organizations? In other words, who are there's always a percentage, and I look at that as an indicator whether somebody's too top heavy or not. So what is that percentage of people on the ground, and then the people supporting?
I'll take that question, sir. We have 95% of our workforce is frontline. So that includes the screening personnel that you see at the airports, the K-9 handlers, the compliance inspectors, our intel staff, our vetting staff, ensuring that the people traveling are who they are and that they are vetted appropriately. We have 5% is what we believe is our headquarters, or what you can refer to as overhead, to support that field operation.
Okay, that's a good number, actually. For bureaucracies, that's actually not a bad number. In terms of payroll to benefits, the percentage of benefits on top of the salaries, what percentage is that? Your benefits on top of your salaries? Yeah.
Out of our total budget, 76% of it goes towards salary and benefits. Of that, 33% of our salary includes the benefit, so 33%.
Okay, fair enough. Mr. Belcher, you control the air marshals?
Yes, sir, I do.
Do you have enough air marshals?
We are able to meet our needs with the air marshals we have. With more air marshals, we would do more, obviously, but we are at a point where we are meeting our critical needs.
Okay, that's pretty evasive. Do you have an air marshal on every flight?
No, sir, we do not.
And so you must have a process to pick it when the air marshals do their thing. Have you ever thought about utilizing law enforcement, other law enforcement agencies to do that?
Specifically, I'm in favor of having other law enforcement officers on planes, and I think there's never a reason not to have that. I think if we were to try and utilize them specifically to perform air marshal-like functions, there should be some sort of at least familiarization or some level. I don't think it would be significant.
No, I agree
level
with
of
that.
training
Yeah.
so they could understand the environment they're operating in.
I agree with that.
Is there a process where you conduct exit interviews when staff leaves, and have you compiled any information to understand what are the non-compensation issues that may be affecting the turnover?
So we do ask our employees to take an exit survey as they leave. Pay was the number one in 22 and early 23. It has dropped to like the number three reasons, I believe, on the exit surveys on why employees leave. The first would be a different career field, career choice. Second would be probably the environment. I haven't specifically looked at those survey results, but with an 11% attrition, we're well within normal attrition for other federal agencies. Last pay period, our attrition was down to 10.4% for our screening workforce specifically. So we believe that the pay compensation system that Congress granted to us last year at the fourth quarter, we so appreciate it. We have seen an increase in morale with employees. We have seen a more stable workforce. We have seen a more focused workforce. They don't have to worry about getting to that second and third job. So those are some of the tangible benefits that we've seen with that pay increase. So thank you so much for giving us that last year.
Politico recently reported that Senator Ted Cruz is requiring TSA to provide some special treatment for members of Congress and federal judges and all kinds of staff. I am not for it. I think a system should be developed that should be good enough for the people as well as members of Congress, and I don't think members of Congress needs any special treatment at TSA points. But if such a system were to be implemented, what would be the cost and burden on TSA?
I can take that question, sir. So first of all, I think it's important to understand that this would be a mission change for TSA. I think it's also important to understand that at this point, our transportation security officers are not law enforcement individuals. There's safety issues that we need to kind of work through to make sure that we understand that. One thing that we have done some rough analysis, so we will provide a get back on this, but there would be significant cost burdens associated with moving this forward.
There are 850 million people buying passenger tickets, and when we buy a ticket, we pay a security fee. It's $5.60 for a one-way trip. So we don't even notice it. We look online, we find the least expensive ticket, with the best seat on whatever airline we prefer. We choose from 2 or 3 according to airports we can use. We're just trying to get to where we're going. Trust me, there's no Americans out there making a decision on buying a ticket based upon a $5.60 security fee. But as an American, call us crazy, we would think that a security fee might be used for security. Just putting that out there as a wild thought. So you got 850 million people paying a minimum of $5.60 because it's $11.20 for a round trip ticket. So let's just use minimal numbers. That's $4.7 billion. Is that about accurate? You're collecting somewhere between $4 and $5 billion in the TSA security fee from individual airline tickets? With 850 million travelers? Is that roughly correct? I'm not trying to put anybody on the spot. We're trying to get to the reality here that TSA should almost be self-funded. And Americans would think that that would be the case, but this money is being diverted. At some point in this town, a decision was made, let's just take that money from its intended purpose and move it over here. And the Americans didn't notice that this had happened. But you've got to be able to hire and retain quality people. Mr. Belcher, it's good to see you again. As you know, I have requested, quite officially and professionally, some documentation from the Federal Air Marshal Services, and I've been waiting on that for about 2 months. And I am prayerful that you will bring some sense of urgency back to to your staff that I'd like to get the documentation that I've requested. Can I count on you to at least address that with your office, sir?
Yes, sir, you can, and it's good to see you as well. But I know we're running time. You should have the answer in about a week, is what I'm told just this morning.
I appreciate your attention to that matter. Mr. Chairman, I yield.
Security fee for security. What a concept. The chair now recognizes the gentleman from New Jersey, Mr. Payne.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and my good friend from Louisiana. What do they use that? Where is it diverted? Do you?
A lot of it goes to the general treasury. So the TSA is getting a piece of it, I think 250 million or something like that, but it's not nearly enough to operate. So they need technology and they need the money that the Americans believe when we purchase a ticket. That's the purpose it's going for.
Very so.
I yield.
And I'd be willing to work with you on that to make sure that happens. Ms. Scanlon, thank you for highlighting how pay raises have improved employee retention and morale, allowing the TSA to be more selective in their hiring processes. I'd like to dive deeper into the benefits of improved retention. What kind of impact does it have on security operations when you have a more experienced, well-trained, and are able to retain your workforce for longer periods?
Thank you for that question.
Oh, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have asked Ms. Scanlon. Whoever.
I could take a quick stab at that, sir. So first of all, thank you. It has a tremendous impact to have a well-trained workforce, making sure that we process, a lot of passengers that are coming at us. Yesterday is a good example, sir. We had an average day at TSA. We processed 2.5 million passengers. We detected 17 firearms. Most of those are loaded. So the security value, the work that our employees do, the TSA's compensation package has a tremendous impact. The experience of the workforce to make sure that they understand technology, they understand processes. There's a learning curve associated when you onboard people within the organization. So to your question, I appreciate the support from each and every one of you as far as the compensation package. I appreciate the work that's being done by this committee to take care of our people, but also invest in security to keep our country safe.
The TSA administrator was in the seats that you're in right now, not too long ago, and told this committee that based on past, present, current, and projected funding, it won't be until 25 years from now, in the year 2049, that TSA will meet its full operational capability for credential authentication technology, CAT machines, and 18 years from now, in 2042, that we will meet the standard for checkpoint property screening systems, including computing tomography. To put those delays in perspective, a baby born today will be old enough to vote and or rent a car before these standards are met. Mr. Lorincz, is that acceptable to you, sir?
First of all, thank you for the question. Speaking for our employees and the employees that are working the front line, from a security effectiveness, we need the best technology out there to make sure that we stay ahead of the threat. And it's challenging when you have different technologies at a certain airport, not only from a passenger experience, from a security effectiveness piece, but also from a training piece. So your support, continued support from this committee is greatly appreciated.
And while those anticipated meeting of those requirements are decades on the horizon, does that problem get exacerbated as technology becomes more prevalent, as technology advances become better? Does that 18 and 25-year delay become worse as technology get better?
If you don't mind, I'll answer that. Yes, of course it does. We are continually researching with Stacey's requirements and capabilities group the new and emerging threats and the technology and the algorithms that will meet that threat. And that we won't be able to deploy that technology is of a concern.
Great. I only have about a half a minute left, and I'd like for each of you, hopefully yes or no, but if you have to go into it shortly, just to answer this question. Is it a good idea for Congress to examine the passenger security fee and rightfully put those funds where we are telling Americans they should go, to bona fide passenger security? Yes or no, should Congress endeavor to amend that mistake and to focus those fees where they're intended? We'll start
Yes.
with Ms.
Yes, I believe it's important. Thank you.
I agree, yes, it's important.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. With 4 yeses, I yield back. That was the grand finale, Chairman.
Excuse me?
That was the grand finale.
Very good. Okay, thank you. Without objection, subcommittee stands adjourned.